Yeah.
Just one more and that's it. We are done and we'll be off.
2 more shots at the mirror and we are done.
One take very close.
You know, putting with the two hands, like you're putting the earring, then you're going this side,
Okay.
and then going...
That's it. Like this? Okay,
Yeah,
let's
like
go,
this.
let's go. Yeah.
Sure, I had the choice.
Like
It
you're
was a
getting
matter
ready to
of me wanting to please the parents as well as myself.
Okay, you changed the year now?
Maybe I grew up with that notion that I will get married to an arranged marriage, so I never questioned it.
That is kind of ugly.
It's a nervousness that I've never felt before. It like it shoots through you. You know, it starts with your gut and it kind of like, oh my god, this is it.
Put your hand here. You can see. One over here.
Oh god! Do we have to do these things? We have to go for these.
You like it later on. Okay? Okay.
I really don't want to do this. Can we?
You sure?
Yeah, I really don't. It's not me. You go, girl. Bad girl.
You can go on endlessly looking for the most perfectly sculpted being. But that's kind of pathetic in some sense. I mean, if you're going to live your life in that realm of the eternal postponement because you think that something better is going to happen, it's never going to happen like that. I'm not sure what form of journey marriage would take, because I understand the singularity of the human condition. And yet I hope to create a kind of ambiance where some sort of nourishing can take place.
Arranged marriage was like the last thing I ever thought I would do. Before I started, somebody had asked me, "You think you're gonna do this?" And I said, "No, never. If I don't meet somebody on my own, that's just too bad."
How does it feel? I don't know. A little nerve-wracking. The guy I'm engaged to is modern. When he was 17, he went through paramedic training, had seen a lot of deaths, and so it's built a lot of character and stability. So, and that's what I was looking for. First question is, do you get to see the person? Do you at least get to see the person? And I'll say yes. And then, how long do you go out with the person? If I say like maybe 2 days, that's when I get the, oh my goodness, you have to decide in 2 days. It's an agreement. It's like, okay, if you fulfill my end of the deal, I'll fulfill yours. And it's not to say that, you know, that's sounding like a business arrangement.
But it is in a way.
At the age of 21, I was looking, so that's a good 7 years. I would say maybe 5, 6 guys a year that you would prospects. I'm not gonna say guys, prospects. It's what you would call an estimated guess. Could I have found somebody in Toronto? Why do I have to go all the way to Nashville?
If there was ever a record for the longest time spoken on the phone, I think I've probably broken it by now, because on average it's about 4 hours. So we've spent a lot of time over the phone and talking and building a long distance relationship, but we haven't seen much of each other. I think it's only twice.
Mom was born in Zimbabwe. My dad was born in India. They got married in about 1959. Same way, arranged marriage. Then my mom didn't see my dad. So it's a little bit better than me. Or worse, I don't know.
Well, I saw his brother. And I like the brother. I said, not that one. The other one, I said, no.
when the parents said to her, "This is not the person that you're looking at," and she said, "No, I like the other one."
Just
I
a
didn't know.
glance, so I see the nice one.
And you know what? He got married to her cousin.
I based my decision on marrying Dimple based on his personality, and the first day we met, we'd said, okay, let's get together and have a little chat of what we're each looking for in a marriage. And I'd say the first 6 hours of our discussion was what I'm looking for and what he's looking for. It was very serious. It was a formal, almost an interview. I was looking for companionship, more so than a wife to, you know, cater to his every whim. Iron for him and cook for him. And he wasn't looking for that. So, and I think in any marriage, there was compromise. In any relationship, there's compromise. And so, you have to give and take.
This journey that I've been compelled to make started with this recognition of myself as being Muslim. I mean, I wasn't raised in an Islamic household. My father was a Marxist, and I still feel an affinity for socialism, but at the same time, there was always this sort of absence of a spiritual component. This is, I think, the purpose of my life. Some kind of migration towards a wholeness, a completeness, and an understanding of what it means to be Muslim. I'm going to Toronto. My aunt has found some women within the community who would be interested in meeting with me. I don't know a lot about them. I've left it in what I hope are the capable hands of my aunt. I'm not going with any real expectation. I'm trying to cleanse my mind of all of my own stereotypes and prejudice.
I could not do this.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can do it.
Well, I haven't done it yet. You know, I've just, I arrived here yesterday, and you know, as I sort of disembarked, and I'm sort of overhearing the conversations that people are having, because, you know, plain conversations, and people are talking about, oh, why they've come, and what if somebody asks me that? What am I going to say? And I go, oh, well, I've come to choose my future wife. I don't think so. The concept of arranged marriage has certainly undergone a dramatic transformation. You know, this is not something which is part of some traditional machinery where you're born into it and you're carried along conveyor belt style, and then at a certain age, you know, you kind of go down that chute, and that's the marriage chute, you know. This is something where you have a lot of choice. It's surreal in some sense, right? I mean, you know, when I was sitting on the plane, for instance, you know, I'm sitting on the plane, I'm sitting next to this couple that's sort of bickering all the way, you know, and it's a charter flight, you know, seats are very cramped. I'm having to listen to this constant barrage of stuff going back and forth between them. They're married, obviously they've been married a long time because they kind of hate each other, you know, it was so apparent. I thought, this is an omen. What am I doing? In my childhood, I don't think I ever really thought about how my parents had met. It wasn't something that they talked about. My parents married out of love. They were kind of lost too, you know, they'd come from East Africa, they'd come to England, they didn't really know what was going on. They thought they'd come to the promised land, it turned out to be a dump, you know. They met independent of any kind of family structure. I think that sort of emphasis on love as opposed to sort of the orchestration has informed my life to some degree. I mean, I feel that is the most compelling aspect of choosing to be with somebody else. I want somebody who's learned, somebody who likes jazz, somebody who likes to read. Yeah, not much. The world, not much.
Beautiful, energetic Punjabi Khatri, Canadian-born, raised, 28, 5'2", systems business analyst, sincere, straightforward, affectionate, fun-loving, zest for life. Excellent East-West blend, seeks compatible Hindu-Sikh professional, mutual respect and equality. Please call or email. I put this ad in Matrimonial Classifieds, and phone started ringing. First couple of days, few calls started trickling in, and then the first weekend, I must have gotten, I don't know, over 50 phone calls. Literally, the phone rang non-stop. I spent my entire weekend on the phone. Established family invites proposals for Punjabi Hindu 31 and a half, 5'5". Yeah, divorced. Never mind. Alliance invited from outgoing, attractive, caring, and professional girls for clean shaven, handsome, athletic, jet-sick engineer. 26, 5'11" on H1 green card in process. I think I probably had a stereotypical view of what arranged marriages are all about.
Very handsome, Hindu, Punjabi, well established.
Parents meet parents, boy sees girl, girl serves tea.
Okay, should I call this one then?
Okay, she walked properly and that's it, they're getting married.
Hi, I'm calling about your ad in the India Abroad. Is that for you?
It's more like an introduction service for what it's evolved to today, or my personal experience anyways.
Well, I'm a systems analyst. I work for IBM.
It's a dating service, pretty much, or an introduction service.
Sort of things. I want somebody who would be basically my best friend that I enjoy spending time with.
I think the difference is simply that we know we're going in for the purpose of marriage. Got letters from, like, I don't know, all over the world. I couldn't keep track of who is who. So then next weekend, second weekend, I got, again, another 50, 60 phone calls, and that we'd gone away for the weekend, so the answering machine was full of messages, and I'm just actually going through some of them now and figuring out which ones I want to call back just from the voicemails. I've gotten like close to 200 responses from this ad.
This is really good, Urchin. I've had some this afternoon.
Well, this is extra hot.
Is it hot? Yeah, it's really hot. Okay, as long as it's really
As I was growing up, I never hung around with Indian people. My parents, when I was about 16, I was like dating not Indian guys and whatever. My dad always used to say to me, mark my words, one day you'll change your mind yourself.
She asked me what I voted, and I told her.
And I have a couple of good Indian girlfriends who, they were a lot more Indian than I ever was, and always said, Regina, you're going to end up with an Indian guy. And I was like, never, ever, So arranged marriage was like the last thing I ever thought I would do, or that I would even marry an Indian guy at all. When I was really young, you know, people would make racial slurs and whatever, and I was conscious of it. But as I got older and learned more about my background, and I was always very proud to be who I was, and I've like worn suits to school and work, and you know, I'll wear a sari if I'm going to a wedding or something and run into like the mall to pick up something that I forgot, and I've never been like embarrassed or ashamed of that. I guess all of that combined made me really aware of who I am and what I really want out of life, and that I want to be able to share both sides of me with somebody who can understand that, yeah, I have dated, and that's because that is how we grew up here, and at the same time that I can make roti, and that's good too.
Now I'm going in to get turmeric on me. I don't know what it means. I'm not sure what it symbolizes, but I'll be forced, so. Oh, I've got to go. When I grew up, I mean, I used to watch Happy Days, The Brady Bunch, Charlie's Angels. That was always, you know, when you're like in grade 5, you know, you've got 3 other friends, you're one of each of the angels. And I always wanted to be an accountant, of all things.
This has gone up to $30. I bought him at 18.
Right.
I mean, I know in grade 8 or something, you know, I knew that I was going to get into accounting.
Bank, British Telecom. And Northampton. Northampton total jump type and my value goes up. National Bank used to be at $8, 16.
Oh, all banks are doing good.
Yeah.
I think as far as I can remember, I knew that I wanted to work. Because all the women in our community, they don't work. Most of them don't work within my environment. And so I didn't want to be that way. I wanted to get out and have a job and actually be self-sufficient and independent, financially independent.
We thought she will run away from home. At a point we thought that.
When?
Yeah.
I was never that bad.
Yeah.
Run away from home?
Yeah, at a point we thought that if you push too much, you would quit. Because she was strong at her points. She wanted to study. She wanted to finish her courses. And
find
she
somebody
said,
suitable.
if I find suitable.
You know, she used to say to me, well, you know, he's got 2 ears, 2 eyes, and a nose.
That's why my mother told me. What more you want?
That's a great basis for a marriage.
It really hasn't hit me yet that I'm getting married tomorrow. And it's kind of strange, but I'm happy about it. I'm very upbeat about it. And it's something that I wanted to do, so, you know, it's not, in that sense, I'm looking forward to it. And I think both of us are looking forward to it.
Fasten your seatbelts, because we're going to give you a blast. जैसे खिलता गुलाब जैसे शायर का ख्वाब जैसे चांदनी रात जैसे नरमी की बात जैसे मंदिर में हो एक जलता दिया
I've never done anything like this one. It's a kind of like strange shopping trip, you know. I mean, in some really, you know, ridiculous sense. I mean, to sort of whittle it down to, you know, an essential thing. I'm not going there to go to the galleries or, you know, go sightseeing. I'm you know, going there to see these women, and it was just, I was like, oh my God, what do I do?
We just have to hope that our aunt in Toronto isn't just thinking about a pretty face.
I feel like a commodity. I feel like I'm sort of shopping around a commodity, and the commodity is me. You know? Especially in the situation of going and, you know, having my aunt sort of, you know, giving advance warning as to who and what I am about.
I don't
you know, and then you feel like you go there and, you know.
Well, they're all different
Maybe you
forms.
feel like that all the
they're
time.
different forms of advertising. We use different forms of advertising when we don't have an intercessor. It's like the way we dress and the kind of show that we put on when we're with someone.
Maybe arranged marriages in the very traditional sense are the least commodified, right? The least materialist in that sense, and the truest.
The truest.
So what are you going to wear tomorrow?
I don't know. I mean, you know, like, part of it is that I know my aunt would want me to, like, totally dress up, and you know, I was telling you that when I spoke to her, she thought I should get a suit, you know.
Oh my God.
I'm not a suit guy.
I think it's all to do with the consumer culture, consuming relationships and consuming people, and having to move on to something new to consume.
Yeah, economic imperative, right?
Yeah.
Seems more important than other things too. The clothing is kind of a defense in some sense, right? When business people go out and wear power suits, it's a kind of defense against all of the kind of confusion
in that
and
context. But in this
you know.
context, it's because you want to strut around like a peacock. That's what it is. Don't give me that crap. Mister, I've got a 1/4 inch of hair on my head and I'll gel it and then put a baseball cap on.
So I put my own ad in and I got like over 200 responses. I kind of weeded them out rather quickly because I've been doing this for so long that I kind of know what it is that I'm looking for, and pretty much from hello I can tell if I want the conversation to continue or not. So I kind of got it down to 10 and then there was 3 left. And then it got really shortlisted and there's 1 left on the list and I'm meeting him tomorrow, so I'm kind of nervous.
You're trying to impress me?
No, I just
Well, my car is always clean and it hasn't been washed for a long time, so I figured, well, may as well look nice, right?
He obviously wants to get married soon.
Well, I don't know. I think I probably want to get married sooner.
Your teeth are very white, Rosemary. They are? I don't think your teeth are going to be examined.
We both kind of, somewhere along the line, decided that we wanted to marry somebody Indian.
Why? What were his reasons?
Pretty much the same as me. Like,
which are what?
We want to have like the same cultural background and stuff like that. It just makes life easier.
You think culture makes a difference? How does he think that culture makes a difference? How does it make a difference to you? Because you were born and brought up in Canada, so you're just every bit Canadian.
Yeah, but I mean,
you don't
like,
do anything overly Indian.
If you could find somebody that has everything that you want, who is Indian, why would you not?
Yeah, okay, but don't you think, regardless of whether they're Indian or not, if someone has an interest in your culture and you have an interest in their culture, don't you think you're richer and they have two cultures as opposed to one?
All of your time explaining your culture to somebody instead of just knowing that you understand that, like, you know, when you come home for dinner to your parents' house, you don't have to say, oh, well, you see, this is like a curry dish, and this is what it is. They just know what sabji is. The difference between you and me is that I like Indian music, Indian movies, you know, and like, I'm more Indian than you to begin with.
How are we gonna walk? Can we practice how we're gonna walk? Run! I've been so anxious. Oh, is my makeup taken? To me, our community is the people that I've grown up with around this area, who are my uncles and aunts and cousins. And there's a very special bond there. And that's probably what leads me to even getting in towards the arranged marriage. There's a closeness, there's their influence in my upbringing. And it's just accepted, it's a part of life. You don't question any other way of getting married.
These meetings are taking place in a variety of circumstances. And even though this meeting is taking place at the Union Station, that does not detract from the sense that there is a kind of intimacy about this. You think I dressed okay?
Yeah, you're looking very good.
Yeah.
Very smart. I think you'll do well.
Sure. How did you meet up with them?
I have all these Muslim friends that we work together,
right.
And we always go for our prayers together, and it's kind of the word went around, and I asked them if they knew anybody, and they said yes, they did, so that's how I was introduced to these girls.
I've thought about marriage before in a couple of relationships that I've been in the past where, you know, I thought I probably could be married to this person, and we've sort of even discussed it. And it seemed kind of real then because there was already a flow to the relationship, and you felt like, well, what would marriage be except for some kind of formalizing of this bond? But here is like going from nothing to everything, you know. It's like one of these, you know, commercials for cars, you know, they go from 0 to 60 in 2.3 seconds or whatever. There's no starting point, so all of a sudden you're traveling at 60 miles an hour. You know, you don't even know how you got there. I mean, we'll just see how, see how things go.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna force anything.
That's right.
How are you more Indian than me?
Well, I just think that I have a different set of values than you do. I mean,
like what? What are Indian values?
Well, I don't know what are Indian values. I know what my value system is, and I think it's more aligned with Eastern thought.
Which is what?
Well, I don't know. I have like some really traditional views about like stereotypical gender roles.
Like what? So just...
like women cook and men cut the lawn.
You do?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You don't.
No. So that's Indian?
Well, no, I don't know if that's Indian. That's traditional. It's conservative. I tend to think like that.
I'm a little bit, worried and excited, like, what going to happen if they like each other, or, or that's what my worries, because I'm just a little bit emotional. Like, everything goes all right, then, something is settled, and Rajini is going to get married, but it's still not fully settled, right, until they like each other.
Do I look anxious or nervous?
Well, you just look a little uptight.
Like I've never been this worried before, or nervous. I'm not worried, I just
you have
nervous.
No reason to be nervous.
Well, no one's ever come here before to meet me, and it's just...
Well,
I haven't really planned, like, what we're doing or anything.
Yeah, but you can play it by ear. He'll probably be hungry after he gets off the
plane. Yeah, well, we were planning on going for dinner, so...
So just
that's
take,
what we'll do.
Deep breath and relax. It's just a...
Oh my God, I can't believe... I really have never been this nervous, ever.
Are you nervous?
Are
you a nervous person?
No, I'm not. Do I look nervous?
No.
No. I was, I guess, when I spoke to you on the phone this morning, I was, a little bit okay,
Yeah.
Because it's the first time that I'm doing this also, right?
Absolutely,
so,
absolutely.
It's an unusual set of circumstances, right?
Yes, yes. Allah will help us with
Inshallah.
it. Yep. We can only do our best.
Yeah, but this is the way that our Prophet has told us to do.
Absolutely, absolutely.
The first meeting was with this woman, and the agreed meeting place was the Union Station, which I've been spinning these metaphors, and I thought, oh, well, Union Station, that's probably quite appropriate for an encounter to take place.
Museum of Civilization might actually be pretty interesting.
Okay. It's a really magnificent building from the outside. I haven't been in it yet, but okay, we can do that.
We have in New York, there's the American Museum of Natural History, which usually have fantastic exhibits. They have set up an exhibit with additional dinosaur fossils. I guess with this Lost World craze that's taking place right now, they figured whenever they get the mass interest, maybe they can teach children quite a bit about history that way.
Yeah.
When they take a natural interest, as well as they're bringing in new fossils. I mean, fossils that were never displayed before, of dinosaurs that were just recently discovered. Just in these types of places.
Well, you're into all the history stuff, right?
Yeah, I've always been a bit of a history buff, especially as it pertains to dinosaurs. I think a lot of children grow up with that here.
Yeah, I guess so.
Did you see that?
Sorry, what were you saying?
When you were growing up, you ever had friends or people?
Whoever you marry, whether it's arranged or whether it's love marriage, you know when you see that person that that is the right person for you. Before I'd even met them. I said, I'm telling you here and now, I think this is gonna work. And I hadn't even met him.
I think we were always very
Curious,
interested. We were always
yeah.
curious about, like, who does that? When I first found out, I was like, when she was telling me, even in first year, I was like, that really happens, pretty. You're not going to go through with that, You do. You say that. You're like, come on.
Come on, Dimple, come over here. Just the way I saw him mingling and playing with the kids and talking to my dad, and he was polite, he was, not a psycho. I mean.
I think Western parents try to do the same thing, don't they? My parents are from Dutch heritage, and they would love for me to meet someone that's Dutch, and so they invite me to parties and things like that. It's not like this is going to happen, but Katrina, wouldn't it be nice if we had someone,
I mean, we have a good start. The love is there. There's a bud. It's there. It's not in full bloom yet. Sorry.
I like to call this the eternal quest that I'm on right now. I guess it's been almost 3 years now, and it's hard. There's a lot of emotional ups and downs. You get excited about somebody and things are going really well, and then you meet them and it all crashes in front of you. I've never been that nervous with anybody before. Like, usually I get like 10, 15 minutes before, okay, anxious. But this was like insane. From 3 o'clock, I couldn't stop. And I think maybe it's because I really thought, this is it.
Yeah.
But then I guess I was a little disappointed when I saw him.
Why? Because he's short?
Well, yeah, and he just wasn't as attractive as
you wanted him to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then we went to the hotel room to drop off his luggage.
Yeah.
And he says, and I'll drive. You'll drive? And I said, well, you don't really let anybody drive my car. And he said, well, I'm just not anybody, or something like that. And I said, well, why do you want to drive? And he said, well, because I'm the guy. So I was really not impressed by that.
Was he saying it jokingly or sarcastically?
Yeah, no, because I said, are you serious? And he said over 3 or 4 times. And he goes, well, no, it's not that I'll always drive, but most of the time. He said something about wanting an open-minded person. And I said, no, you don't. And he said, yes, I do. You don't know me that well. And I said, I know what I saw this weekend. You don't want somebody who's not open-minded, who's an independent thinker.
It's probably hard for him to admit that he wants his wife to be secondary to him. Like, that's not something that he probably knew consciously. Like, he does know it, but he's not going to say, oh, by the way, like, I want my wife to be subservient to me. No, but like, he probably learned that as he met you. It's a process, right?
Yeah, I suppose so.
I'm amazed at how well it went. It went a lot better than I thought it was. I mean, I was like, yeah, I was, not so much apprehensive, but I just thought, from what you told me, you didn't, there wasn't a lot to go on.
No.
And I thought, okay, I don't want to have a lot of expectations, so I'm just going to go. And as you were walking with her mom up ahead,
Yes.
I said that, how do you feel? I said, how do you feel? And she said, I said, are you a little bit nervous? Are you nervous about this? And she said, yeah. And I said, I am too. And we both sort of said, this is the first time we've ever done this before,
Yes.
So that kind of put her a little bit at ease.
She seemed very shy to me, and
Yeah.
so I just thought that when she meets you, she'll probably do the same.
Right.
But I'm glad she opened up too.
And it was very comfortable. The conversation went very smoothly, and she kind of talked a lot about herself, and so I'm quite amazed
Oh, very good.
how good it was.
So glad.
Yeah. Well, whatever Allah wills, I
Wishes,
mean, we
absolutely.
just. I think you did a good job.
One down.
One down, yeah.
One down.
There's no space on our table. I mean, on that table. So I'll make space over there. Don't worry about it. No, you sit over there.
How did it feel up there? I'm not sure.
Thank you, my guy.
Oh, I'm stuck. It wasn't emotional. It was,
Oh, I'm dragging everything.
You know, I really wasn't even thinking. I wasn't, maybe I'm numb, I'm not sure.
Pretty, how many people are coming tonight?
650.
Okay, because they told me 1,000.
Anyway, I can't even, I can't believe I'm married.
I know, we were coming here this morning going, oh my God, Pretty's getting married today. Yeah, so are you does this qualify as legally married?
Yeah,
So you
legally
signed
married.
This,
Really?
That's
Send it in.
So you don't have to go through a civil...
No. I couldn't believe that I was, you know, married. It was just really all sinking in. To look at him and think, I'm married to him, you know. Because really, I've only really physically been with him for 5 days to have any sort of interaction. And I'm looking at him and thinking, this is my husband. So that kind of was sinking in.
I'm thinking perhaps we should just leave it to the fates. If it's meant to be, it will be. If he's there, then he'll find me.
So you want to sit and wait and leave it to the fate?
I know exactly what I want. I've met a million guys. I put an ad in, I got over 200 responses from that. Nobody fits the bill.
So you're doing your job.
So what am I supposed to do now?
Do it again.
Keep on doing it.
Keep on
Don't
doing it.
stop it. Okay?
Well, I do understand.
Well,
That's fine.
I don't know. I think you are a bit too picky because that reminds me when I was in Toronto. I just began U of T and I was searching for like this Indian crew of friends and I was really disappointed with the quality of people I was meeting. And I'm like, there's no good people in this city and how come everyone's like this and like that and how come I can't meet any people? And then I just decided, wait a second, why do I have to meet Indian girls or Indian guys to be friends with? And it turns out my best friends are German and Korean. Just because they're not Indian, yeah, some things we don't have in common, but as companions, as friends, I don't think anybody could do a better job.
I want to be able to speak in Punjabi with my husband. I want to speak Punjabi with my children. I want to cook Indian food, listen to Indian music. And you can say, yeah, okay, maybe somebody else can appreciate it, but it's not the same.
I came to Toronto with very few expectations of what was going to happen. I mean, in some sense, I'd sort of felt, well, railroaded maybe is too strong an expression, but certainly, my aunt had asked me to come here, and so I felt I was fulfilling a particular obligation.
It's kind of sad that you're going, honey.
Yeah, I know. It was fun to hang out.
Honey, are you going to get married to any of these women? How are you going to know which one?
I'm not sure. I've met 4 women so far, and I would not have wished it to be any other way. I came without any expectation, and I carried into these meetings that same feeling, although I guess at certain moments there was sort of a twinkle of something that, how might this be in some kind of future scenario. So overall, I feel, I'm walking away from these particular experiences and heading back to Vancouver with a sense of something quite special having taken place.
So do you think you're going to marry one of these women?
You asked me that.
I know. I'm dying to know.
I don't know. I can't say at this point.
It's been 2.5 weeks since the wedding. It's a mixed feeling. It's the excitement of leaving and the sadness of going. You're not a possession, you're not going from one guy's possession to the next, and that's their thinking. And I'm thinking, Dimple feels the same way. I don't think he thinks of me as, all of a sudden his little possession or, so I'm hoping anyway. We had a conversation about this. My mom thanked him for letting me stay on for 2 more weeks after the wedding. And, And he tells me this on the phone. He says, do you know your mom thanked me for giving her, you know, her permission to let you stay on for 2.5 weeks? And I said, pardon me, you know, permission? I don't know Dimple. And whatever it goes, we're married already. And now it's just getting to know that person and living and accepting whatever comes our way, whatever personality quirks or whatever. But we've already made that commitment, so we have no choice of breaking up and not living together anymore.
Even though I was born and raised here, there's a big part of me that's Indian. And I don't want to give that up. I haven't given up my parents' roots or mine because they still are mine. And I want to be able to share that with somebody.
So my suggestion again, you start searching again and don't get depressed. That's, you know, processes like that. So you will find somebody. I'm making sure of that.
You deserve it. And eventually all marriage turns out to be love marriages.
Just don't know if I'm ever going to find this person. Or if that person's ever going to find me.
في حمام كل فاكهة زوجان وبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان.
Even though none of these situations worked out, it was a reinforcement for me of the importance of whatever choices I make, they must be informed by an Islamic worldview. You know, I don't want to sort of look back at that and say, well, just because something definitive didn't emerge from that it was necessarily you know, a wasted effort, or that the expectations were not fulfilled. Because you know, I mean, I think we said that you go and you don't in some sense you don't have any. I mean, you have expectations, right? But you also don't know what's going to transpire.
No.
So you put yourself in the hands of Allah, and however you're going to be guided, you know, you will be guided.
It's hard to leave her behind. But I hope everything just works out for her. She cried once on the phone. She says, I don't know what to say, but Dimple is not what I thought. And he's too moody and all that. And I said, yeah, that's one thing you have to adjust. And keep trying hard, because you are educated. You grew up in a family where too many people always respect each other. So you know what respect is. That's one thing you have to do, to respect him. Don't argue. There's no problem.
कुछ